Welcome to this historic day, and please take your seats. My name is Cynthia Archer. I'm a member of the Bryn Mawr class of 1975 and chair of the Board of Trustees. We are gathered, colleagues all, to celebrate the inauguration of Wendy Cadge as the 10th president of Bryn Mawr College. We are trustees. We are trustees, faculty, staff, students, alums, academic partners, friends, families, and former presidents of Bryn Mawr, here on this beautiful day and listening in from around the world. What is an inauguration? In its best form, it is a coming together of our community to celebrate the election of our new president and to rededicate ourselves to carrying forward Bryn Mawr's mission, to educate students to the highest standard of excellence and prepare them for lives of purpose, to lift up others as they make a meaningful difference in the world, to our core belief that equity and inclusion serve as the engine for excellence and innovation, and to remind ourselves of the core values underlying our mission as we commit ourselves to support our new president and her leadership of Bryn Mawr College. On this occasion, we can remember with deep respect all those who have preceded us in building Bryn Mawr since its inception, their efforts paving the way for us to take on our shared responsibility to move Bryn Mawr forward into an exceptional future for ourselves and for those who will follow us in growing, learning, and working in this special place. As a community, we have searched for and found a leader who understands and deeply believes in the global importance of the liberal arts, who embodies the academic rigor and excellence that have been the cornerstones of Bryn Mawr's long legacy, and who has the courage to carry Bryn Mawr's mission forward, fulfilling our generational commitment to uplift women expansively understood, to foster equity and access, and to create sustainability for ourselves and for all Bryn Mawr community members to come. This is a joyful moment for us today to express our confidence in Wendy's leadership of Bryn Mawr. We know we have welcomed into our community a brilliant and entrepreneurial scholar, an award-winning teacher, and an accomplished leader and colleague. It is also a moment to express our gratitude for Wendy's choice to join us as our 10th president. The work of a president is both overwhelmingly immediate and profoundly durable, with every day fully scheduled and no day ever predictable. As our former presidents gathered here would attest, it is deeply meaningful work and not for the faint of heart. The through lines of their work and the affections of our far-flung community are still palpable today. Bryn Mawr has been fortunate for their leadership, as we are now fortunate to have Wendy as our 10th president. Today, we can express our delight in welcoming among us a new leader who is up to the task with a clear moral compass, an abundance of energy, refreshingly clear-eyed, endlessly curious, perceptive, funny, and kind. What a wonder. Even in these early days, Wendy is thinking with us, learning with us, looking at Bryn Mawr through fresh eyes as one idea illuminates another, in the way that our search committee discerned she would when we first met and spoke with her, sensing how far we could all go together to carry Bryn Mawr forward into an exceptional future. In April of this year, the board enthusiastically accepted the recommendation of our brilliant presidential search committee and, pursuant to the authority granted by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to the trustees of the Bryn Mawr Board, elected Wendy as the 10th president of Bryn Mawr College to begin her term on July 1st. Today, on behalf of all trustees, with our gratitude to the thoughtful and inclusive work of this community, it is an honor and pleasure to celebrate Wendy's election to the presidency of Bryn Mawr. which confers upon her all the rights, authority, and responsibility pertaining to that office. We know she will use them well. As trustees, we pledge Wendy our wholehearted support. We believe Bryn Mawr's future strength is calibrated by how we come together in harmony and in disagreement to aspire and move our community forward, as we believe in the strength of our community to propel Bryn Mawr to new heights. So I thank everyone here present and listening in around the world as we join together in wholehearted support of Wendy and of Bryn Mawr.
Good morning. My name is Renata Del Vecchio. I'm a senior here at Bryn Mawr, and I am honored to be here to share a small poem with you, and with it, my heart. Dear President Wendy Cadge, welcome to your freshman year at Bryn Mawr College. As the first leaves turn and you scramble to find the right room, the right person to ask for help, new friends, new duties, a new step in life, you will have to grapple with a new set of rules. Our beloved traditions. Don't split the friendship poles. Take care of when you walk down senior row, and leave your offerings to Athena. By your very first lantern night, you will wonder if you've just joined a cult. And by your first May Day, your fears will be confirmed. But until that day, as autumn presses through the campus, you will pull at least one all-nighter. And on late lavender latte-fueled nights, your head will pound as if something were trying to escape it. You will cry in the common room, and you will lose your voice in the crowd by Taylor's bell, and do it all again. We all find ourselves horribly lost. In your time of need, you may stumble to Great Hall. You may approach Athena. Picture yourself as Perseus, Heracles, Jason, prostrate, seeking the quick fix, the clever solution. But she will not answer. Make no mistake, she is very real, but her wisdom is never quick. Do not think yourself above such idol worship. She is not a thing to pray to. She's a way of seeing. You will walk down senior row, and you will feel her in the sway of each leaf as it falls from its branch to the piles below, in an effortless dance. From the moon bench, she will catch you with a cold stare and say, "Look, look." Exhaust the little moment. And by the time you reach the end and sit, you will see the lines of trees stripped bare, and you will see that you are a very small voice in a very large choir. The empty boughs sing, "This time is what you make of it." So, do not split the friendship poles. Strike forward with an even temper and see with eyes unclouded, and never ever pull another all-nighter. You'll come to know her as we do, and you'll be just fine. Welcome to Bryn Mawr College.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the faculty, it is my great honor to welcome President Wendy Cadge to our community. This is a moment of excitement, possibility, and renewal. As a college deeply rooted in the empowerment of women, we know that leadership grounded in intellectual curiosity, equity, and inclusion is the engine that drives excellence and innovation. President Cadge, your dedication to these values aligns perfectly with our mission. Intellectual curiosity, the courage to ask the difficult questions, to challenge convention, and to explore beyond boundaries is at the heart of what we do. It's how we shape not just informed citizens, but transformative leaders. But innovation cannot thrive without equity. As we prepare our students to shape the future, we must recognize that only by creating spaces where all voices are heard, respected, and uplifted can we achieve true progress. Inclusion must be a guiding principle because we know that diverse perspectives fuel better ideas, and fairness leads to true opportunity. As faculty, we are eager to work alongside you to continue building an institution where intellectual rigor and a commitment to justice empower our students to dream big, act boldly, and lead with empathy. Together, we will push boundaries, embrace new perspectives, and foster the kind of excellence that changes the world. Welcome to this extraordinary journey, President Cadge. We are thrilled to begin this next chapter with you. Thank you.
First, I want to thank everyone for coming here today. My name is Alexi Coleman, and I am an undergraduate student here at Bryn Mawr. Although I am only a sophomore, my journey here so far has taught me that a part of being independent is how to collaborate and who to invite. In high school, I joined my student government where I was vocal music representative, representing a small number of music students. By asking questions and communicating with the other committees in student government, I started to feel I had a capability of having a voice and being in a role. Upon my college search, this interest in high school led me onto a path to research about clubs related to student government. When I stumbled upon Bryn Mawr, I quickly learned about the Self-Government Association. This piqued my interest because lots of colleges have a student government, but not a self-government association. The sense of shared power and responsibility between students and the administration caught something in my eye, something I previously learned in student government, and I knew that Bryn Mawr was the place to be. When I first saw that SGA was at Fall Frolic, I thought, now is my chance to finally get involved in SGA. I was so excited, and I remember signing my name on the table, thinking about what positions I would be interested in, or what catchy slogans I would be used for my campaign. A week goes by, and I started getting emails from SGA about the September elections. When I looked at those emails, it just didn't feel real. I started to doubt myself, and I felt that I wasn't ready to be at a high-level position at a prestigious college. I just said to myself that maybe I'll revisit when I'm an upperclassman. And then an unexpected twist happened. During February, my friend was on the elections board and wanted to run for election head, but didn't want to do it alone. That's when she invited me to collaborate with her as co-elections head. My friend recognized the excellence I had and made the invitation. At that time, I was Black History Month coordinator, and it reminded me of a time that I myself invited my other friend to collaborate with me during Black History Month. It was at a Sisterhood Gen Bod meeting in September when Joy Dallas asked, "Who wants to be Black History Month coordinators?" I looked at who I wanted to get to know better and made the invitation, saying, "We should do it together." The invitation I made to my friend Kylie that day was an example of how collaboration can be used as a relationship building tool. Planning Black History Month sparked the fuel in my engine, and we also got to have a cool glow-in-the-dark party, and I had a chance to interview the Black History Month speaker. I accepted the invitation to collaborate with my friend Maggie for co-elections head because I knew the importance of voting and making your voice heard. By using collaboration as a relationship tool, I was able to grow by learning new things that were unknown to me, like those SGA emails. So thank you, President Cadge, for accepting the invitation to be Bryn Mawr's 10th president. Even though you won't be as close as my friend Kylie and I, Myself and the undergraduate students look forward to building a relationship with you through collaboration. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Spielman, and I'm a fourth-year graduate student here. When I first came to Bryn Mawr, I was struck by this sense of curiosity and pure joy for learning, and how unique it was in that it happened as a community. My first year here, I was a TA for an upper-level lab course. The material is super fun, but what really stood out to me was how everyone interacted with one another. Every student in that class felt comfortable asking for help and making mistakes, not just in front of me, their TA, but in front of and with their peers. In physics, women and non-binary individuals make up less than a quarter of the field, and in my own subfield, it's less than 12%. I think it's easy to point to that course and attribute this positive learning environment to the class makeup, which was primarily people who identify as women. And yes, while that may be a factor, I believe that the real cause were the intentional actions of every person there. They valued, they respected, and they listened to one another. To me, that is where equity begins. Gender equity is not just about representation, it is about respect. And it starts in the classroom, where we can empower our peers to learn and grow by valuing their contributions and their perspectives, even when they differ from our own. It's because of this equitable and positive learning environment that I no longer fear that scary 12% statistic. Bryn Mawr has given me confidence in my abilities and in my identity as a physicist, and I know that is something I will carry with me even after I graduate. So, as someone who has shown that they value the contributions of every single person in this community from day one, I could not be more excited to welcome President Wendy Cadge to Bryn Mawr. Or, if this means anything to you, she gave me good vibes. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christine Boyland. I work in Lit here at Bryn Mawr College, and it is an honor to represent Bryn Mawr's 524 staff members as we celebrate the inauguration of our 10th president, Wendy Cadge. In our roles as administrators, clerical and technical personnel, and service and craft employees, we contribute hard work, dedication, and flexibility in building the fair, open, and welcoming institutional structures, values, and culture that are the true hallmarks of Bryn Mawr College. As we gather to honor our community, we reflect on the theme of resilience, a quality deeply embedded in Bryn Mawr's mission. Resilience is not merely the ability to bounce back from challenges, it's the strength we cultivate through our shared values and commitments. The staff of Bryn Mawr College look forward to partnering with President Cadge to promote the college's mission and make a meaningful difference in the lives of our students. In doing so, we recognize that equity and inclusion is the engine for excellence and innovation, and that our diverse workforce not just reflects, but is an integral part of this important effort. The college values its traditions and history, but our primary focus is always looking ahead as we all work together in community and prepare our students for lives of purpose. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this honor. I'm speaking today on the phrase, lift up others, as it appears in the college's mission statement. When I entered Bryn Mawr, I was thankfully unaware of the barriers my socioeconomic status presented. I immigrated to this country from Beirut, Lebanon at the age of 7 and was raised by a single mother facing great economic hardship. The fact is that I needed considerable financial aid to attend Bryn Mawr. I was lifted up by many during those 4 years. In a life-changing moment one semester when my family could not meet tuition and I was faced with having to leave the school, Bryn Mawr came through with needed funds. Some of those who lifted me up were unknown to me. They were the donors who gave to the college and made my education possible. Because I received so much, it has been important for me to lift up others in return. My husband, Tony, and I focus our philanthropy on education because education levels the playing field to achieve equity and inclusion. There is another reason I care about lifting up others. Giving is as rewarding as receiving. This lesson was reinforced as I faced the culmination of 10 years of service to the board last spring. In the end, it was important to me that our president, Kim Cassidy, knew how much I supported her. I thought that if I had made it better for Kim or for anyone else on the board, I could leave at peace with my accomplishments. Going back to my time at Bryn Mawr, there was a song we sang at Stebsings called Bread and Roses. While I did not fully grasp the lyrics at the time, I sensed through the refrain as we come marching, marching, that as women we fall in place in the procession, behind women who came before us, and in front of those who will come after us. On Stebsing nights, when the song ended, we raised our lanterns into the night sky in a moment of silence, in recognition of what was not named but understood. If I can articulate it now, it would be, it is different here than in the rest of the world. We should make the world more like it is here. Lifting up others is ingrained in who we are as martyrs. It is part of our tradition. Wendy, you are a natural leader. We are thrilled you have joined us to carry on the tradition. We look forward to lifting you up as you lift up others. Thank you.
My name is Wendy Raymond, and I'm the president of Haverford College. And I begin with congratulations to you, Bryn Mawr College, on your new president, Wendy Cadge. And congratulations, Wendy. As president of Haverford, I bring greetings and joyous hurrahs from the Haverford Board of Managers, our senior staff, faculty, students, staff, and alums on this wonderful occasion. Wendy and Bryn Mawr, I am thrilled to be a partner to you in our shared commitment to the BICO. Haverford would not be the same Haverford without Bryn Mawr. In the spirit of true BICO collaboration on this glorious day, I note that this is an historic occasion in an unusual way. Before Wendy and me, there were two Kims as president of Bryn Mawr and Haverford, Kim Cassidy and Kim Benston. And now, isn't it lovely that Bryn Mawr has taken that forward beyond anyone's imagination? To have two Wendys? Really? Now, neither Kim nor Wendy are common names. Who would have predicted this? I take it as a true sign of our continued BICO alignment. More seriously, the gifts of the BICO mean that at Haverford, we celebrate Bryn Mawr every day. And today, on a day of celebration unlike any other, we celebrate all that Wendy Cadge brings to leading Bryn Mawr. Wendy, like Bryn Mawr, is strong, smart, and wise. She brings optimism, a wide range of talents, and a can-do attitude to all that she encounters. She is empathetic and caring. She is discerning and clear-thinking. She is investing in Bryn Mawr's present and future through her conversations and relationships with all of you. And in turn, you, through the reciprocity you will bring to those conversations and relationships, are likewise investing in Wendy and Bryn Mawr's futures. Wendy Cadge's vision and talents mirror the enduring brilliance and spirit of this remarkable institution. Brava, Wendy, and brava, Bryn Mawr.
Good afternoon. My name is Valerie Smith, and I'm president of Swarthmore College. And I'm delighted to be part of this historic day for Bryn Mawr College and this extraordinary milestone in the life of a Swarthmore alum and my distinguished colleague, President Wendy Cadge. Bryn Mawr's welcoming environment, love of learning, and strong sense of community are on full display this week, which is fitting for a celebration of a new president who embodies these very characteristics. Wendy, by now everyone knows that you are a child of Delco. For our out-of-town guests, that's short for Delaware County, Pennsylvania, so your arrival at Bryn Mawr is a bit of a homecoming, sort of. You will find that some things have changed about the area. Wawa serves pizza now. But other things have remained the same. Fall is still the most beautiful time to wander among the campus trees and the most painful time to root for the Phillies. Your undergraduate home at Swarthmore has preserved a number of the traditions we share with Bryn Mawr. I was delighted to read your recent interview in the Bico newspaper about the ways that the Quaker values you learned at Swarthmore continue to inform your approach to leadership. The practices of engaging in difficult conversations while speaking plainly, making room for all viewpoints, and listening with an open mind and heart. Your peers and contemporaries have praised you for the ways in which you've carried these values forward. Haverford alumna, former Swarthmore provost, and current Smith College president Sarah Willie LeBreton, who is, like Wendy, a sociologist, recently remarked that you bring, and I quote, an almost pastoral approach to your ability to listen deeply, and that you respond with care when people are in pain, respond with pragmatism when they are in confusion, and celebrate with them when they are experiencing joy, end of quote. At a time when colleges and universities across the country are confronting a variety of complex challenges, your experience will serve you and the entire Bryn Mawr community immensely well. Swarthmore, like Bryn Mawr, has also maintained an unwavering, unapologetic belief in the power of the liberal arts, even amid misguided criticisms and questioning of the value of a liberal arts education. The Tri-College Consortium's enduring partnership has expanded avenues of learning for our students and enriched their academic experience. We're living in a world that has never been more connected, yet is increasingly divided, a world in which challenges and opportunities develop more rapidly and with less predictability. Success in navigating today's global society lies at the intersection of academic fields and the ability to pair intellectual rigor and creative exploration with a pursuit of the common good. In other words, success lies with the liberal arts. I look forward to finding new ways to work together and demonstrate the value of the liberal arts to the communities and the world around us. to borrow from the theme of the day, let's get out the light. As future Bryn Mawr students graduate into this world, I am confident that they will be better prepared as intellectuals and as humans, thanks to President Cadge's leadership and principled values. Wendy, the Bryn Mawr community is fortunate to have you. Please know that I am here to partner with you, to cheer you on, and to help celebrate your many future accomplishments as you open this next chapter in Bryn Mawr's history.
Good day. My name is Fred Wary, and I am the Vice Dean for Diversity and Inclusion in the Office of the Dean of Faculty at Princeton University, where I am also the Townsend Martin Class of 1917 Professor of Sociology. On behalf of the university, it is my honor and joy to congratulate Wendy Cadge on her inauguration as the 10th president of Bryn Mawr. Wendy was my colleague in the sociology PhD program at Princeton, so it is with great delight that we witness her ascend to the head of this remarkable institution. Bryn Mawr and Princeton share a commitment to cultivating bold learners who are unafraid of asking troubling questions, even about matters that appear at first glance to have been settled long ago. What was is not what will always be, and students engaged in a liberal arts education understand how to imagine the possible and how to push it into being. They also recognize the value of humility, of acknowledging what we don't know, and of working with others regardless of where they come from or what viewpoints they hold, in a shared pursuit of truth. Increasingly, colleges and universities are depicted as places generating useless knowledge or practicing highly political indoctrination. It would seem that the only knowledge worth having is that which will yield an immediate result with benefits obvious to anyone who looks. And there are those who argue that the only knowledge that is legitimate lies outside of politics, walled off in a place of purity. Yet our classrooms are intricately linked to the broader world we inhabit. Therefore, the only wall we need to build is a bulwark against falsehoods. Wendy understands what we defend when we insist on the importance of a liberal arts education. It is not just an intimate marketplace of ideas in the ways that marketplaces typically work, because some of our biggest advances in science and in the arts require capital that is patient and investigations that have had the time and space for failure and for non-results. Some knowledge remains valuable simply by being preserved. Some findings are revelatory by virtue of being shared. And on that which is preserved and shared, new ideas are built. There are contributors to knowledge who are not always recognized as such. Their work is overlooked, and their experiences are not reflected in the priorities of well-meaning innovators. That is why some of the very beneficiaries of our research findings do not see themselves as connected in any way to the work of research. This is one of the real challenges we all face across the higher education ecosystem. And it means that we are called not only to discover and to inspire, but also to connect. Wendy is a connector, as much as she is a gifted scholar, an inspiring visionary, and principled leader. As a scholar of the sociology of religion, she has investigated how our morals, religious beliefs, and traditions profoundly shape how we connect and how we interpret the material conditions we encounter. In her academic and administrative work, she is quick to ask who is not in the room, whose experiences are not reflected in our discoveries, and why. She does this in ways that exemplify why a liberal arts education is so essential for the challenges we confront and for the opportunities we must forge together. Bryn Mawr knew what it was doing when it selected Wendy Cadge to lead this incredible place as its 10th president. Congratulations, Wendy, and best wishes.
Good afternoon, and greetings from Brandeis University, where for the last 18 years, our students, alumni, and faculty have been the beneficiaries of Wendy Cadge's groundbreaking scholarship, extraordinary teaching, and dedicated service as a highly accomplished member of our Department of Sociology and Department of Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, and for the last 3 years as Dean of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, where I had the opportunity to work closely with Wendy. But Dr. Cadge's impact was also felt well beyond our campus in Waltham, Massachusetts, touching a whole array of people and organizations through her essential community-engaged research on chaplaincies and religious leadership outside the traditional confines of church, synagogue, temple, or mosque. In my capacity as Brandeis Dean of Arts and Sciences, and on behalf of our president, provost, and senior leadership, it is my great pleasure and honor to offer our institutional congratulations, along with my own sincere personal well wishes to President Cadge as she embarks on this next and so well-deserved step in her auspicious career. Bryn Mawr is fortunate to have someone as thoughtful, committed, and caring as Wendy at the helm. I'm excited to see how your institution continues to flourish under her leadership, onward and upward. Thank you.
Hello, Bryn Mawr. My name is Sava Berhane, and I'm here representing Mount Holyoke College as an alum and a former Board of Trustee member. I'm also a VP of the largest nonprofit technology company advancing health equity in healthcare. And Wendy Cadge gives me good vibes, too. It is such a pleasure to visit Bryn Mawr College on this special occasion to celebrate the inauguration of Wendy Cadge as your 10th president. Bryn Mawr feels like home. I still remember when I first visited Mount Holyoke College, the fresh air, the rolling hills in the distance, and all the greenery blending with the historic buildings. I also remember a dynamic professor opening a class visit with a thought-provoking question, and the debate that ensued, the students exchanging diverse perspectives. As a high school student who would become the first in her family to graduate from high school, college, and law school, I took none of this for granted. Mount Holyoke felt like a sanctuary, as Bryn Mawr does today, an oasis of learning, open, inspiring, full of possibility. On this occasion, it's fitting to reflect on the role of a woman's college in creating sanctuaries. Bryn Mawr and Mount Holyoke were both founded at a time when the education of women was not simply a rarity, but an act of defiance against the constraints of an era. Mount Holyoke, the first of the Seven Sisters, was founded in 1837 by Mary Lyon, a visionary who believed that women deserved equal education to men. In 1885, Bryn Mawr followed, embodying the same bold commitment to academic freedom and intellectual freedom and academic rigor. Both institutions share this pioneering spirit, a determination to break down barriers, to offer opportunities where there are none, and to educate women who would go on to change the world. Beyond simply an education, they demanded the highest standards of scholarship and set benchmarks that have inspired generations of women to reach beyond what they thought possible. Bryn Mawr and Mount Holyoke College as sanctuaries cultivate authentic leadership. They teach us that leadership is not just about authority and power. It is about influence, vision, and the ability to inspire others. We learn that leaders are those who understand the importance of empathy, compassion, and resilience, and that they are the ones who, having found their own sanctuary, are empowered to create safe spaces for others. Consider the leaders who have shaped history, those women who stood up in times of adversity, who rallied communities, who dared to challenge the status quo. I can think of one today running for president. Just saying. Many of them found their strength in sanctuaries. They sought refuge in their values, beliefs, and the support of their communities. They understood that leadership is not a solitary journey, but a collective endeavor that thrives in environments of trust and understanding. In our contemporary society, the importance of sanctuaries is underscored by the challenges that we face: decreasing economic mobility, political crises, and a pervasive sense of disconnection. In times of turmoil like these, the need for a sanctuary becomes urgent. This is why Wendy's presidency is so important. I love her. I first met Wendy Cadge when she invited me to join Brandeis University to develop and teach a course in the business school on leadership and diversity. Wendy valued my corporate experience as well as my commitment to advancing women in the workplace. My belief then and now is that a focus on diversity and inclusion is fundamentally a focus on value creation. When we speak of creating a sanctuary for students and employees, we are talking about fostering an environment where talent can thrive and investments in talent yield intellectual, financial, and social returns. Without building the kind of trust that fuels collaboration, innovation, and problem solving, we cannot improve our organizations or our society. As we celebrate Wendy Cadge's inauguration today, we are reminded that the work of these institutions is far from complete. The challenges of the 21st century require leadership that is both bold and compassionate, as all who know Wendy would describe her, and leadership that cultivates future leaders. And if I can go off script for just a second, not in like a Obama rapping Eminem at a rally kind of way, I just want to say, when I went to Brandeis and I was teaching with a day job, I thought that's all I needed to do, is teach in my classroom. And Wendy came to me. She was doing great things at Brandeis, and she said, I founded a task force, and the president is going to appoint you to it, because I asked him to. And, oh, you should run for faculty rep to the board. And that's Wendy. She's not just a singular leader focused on her own impact. She's a multiplier. Wendy, I have every confidence that under your tenure, Bryn Mawr will continue to build upon the proud legacies of these two institutions and remain a beacon of women's education, empowerment, and leadership for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Sava. I would now like to introduce Montgomery County Commissioner Neil Makija, who will present a proclamation on behalf of the county in recognition of this special day.
Thank you you so much for being here.
Of course, thank you. Good afternoon, Bryn Mawr community. Congratulations to Dr. Cadge. My name is Neil Makija. I serve as Montgomery County Commissioner, was elected last year as the first Asian American in the history of Pennsylvania to serve as a county commissioner. And I have to say, it's a great pleasure to be here and to welcome Dr. Cadge back to Pennsylvania. I don't think this has been mentioned yet, but she is from Delco, which I will forgive her for. I haven't heard her say water yet, but I assume it's there. But I want to welcome you to Montgomery County, and I'm a liberal arts kid. I'm an alumnus of Sarah Lawrence College, and so I understand a little bit about what it's like to be here. I spent an entire summer at Sarah Lawrence once teaching a robot dog to be curious. It gave me an appreciation for liberal arts education and all it provides, as you've heard from students and the speakers today. But I will tell you there's one thing more valuable than a liberal arts education for those who have come here to Bryn Mawr. It's the fact that you are now eligible to vote in Pennsylvania. And as chair of the Board of Elections, I had the great honor of bringing, for the first time, we created a mobile voting van, and it was at Bryn Mawr this week, and we had dozens and dozens of students voting on the spot. And so I appreciate Dr. Cadge's leadership in understanding the importance of civic duty, of responsibility, and that's a conversation that we've already had to discuss how the community at Bryn Mawr can be interconnected with all of our work in Montgomery County, so many issues that we can lead on, like climate and sustainability. And it's going to be a great honor to work with you for many years to come. So one of the things that I get to do as a county commissioner is proclaim things. So that's what I'm here for today. I'll skip the whereases. I'll just tell you a little bit and we'll present the proclamation. But proclamations give us a chance to declare, to mark a special occasion, and to enter it into our county's record and history. It's an opportunity for us to tell future generations what mattered most, a theme that should not be out of place at an institution like Bryn Mawr College. As was just said, when Bryn Mawr was founded in 1885, there were no other institutions like it. Bryn Mawr dared to be the first, not just to offer a rigorous education to women, but to go as far as to offer women the same opportunities as men at other colleges, including the first PhD program for women in our nation's history. Please. You know, I have to share this because working in voting rights, people are often skeptical or even critical of work to enfranchise voters, which we engaged in here on the campus. A reporter asked me when we were here, why did you choose to come to a women's college in an accusatory fashion in terms of where we were doing our voter accessibility work? And I bit my tongue. First, I just said, we're going everywhere. We've got 14 colleges. What I really wanted to say when I was asked why did we choose to come to a women's college is because, well, women can vote. And unfortunately, some people still need reminders. Anyone going to remind them in 10 days? I want to recognize, I apologize, I am a politician. I want to recognize that Bryn Mawr has remained through all of these years, and we recognize this in the proclamation, at the forefront of higher education since it was founded, a practice that will undoubtedly continue under the leadership
of your 10th president, Dr. Wendy Cadge. It is my honor to recognize formally by Montgomery County and my fellow commissioners today, October 26th, Saturday, as a day of celebration and the inauguration of Bryn Mawr's 10th president, Dr. Wendy Cadge. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Savage. Today we gather in gratitude for this place and in celebration of this new chapter in its history. This is an institution that changes the lives of those who work and study here and helps its students shape futures of promise when they leave. So I'm honored to have been asked to share this day with all of you. I'm standing here today because I first met Wendy Cadge in 1999 when she was a graduate student, and I was an assistant professor at Penn, although I was almost 2 decades her senior due to my own sort of late midlife shift into academia. We overlapped in a weekly colloquium at the Center for the Study of Religion at Princeton while Wendy was being trained in sociology. I was a postdoctoral fellow and historian of 20th century African American politics and culture, but with no training in religion, a fact that had not stopped my urge to write a book on the subject. So despite our differences, we met on the equal ground that classrooms create, joined simply as students as we read, listened to, and critiqued new work. Favorable first impressions do matter, and my impressions of her remain intact and true. She was really smart and clear-headed, but also kind and generous, direct but not rude or rigid in her thinking, with no impulse to posture or show off. A gifted writer, but also a very good listener with an urge toward common ground, common sense, practicality, and next steps. We then went our separate ways with an occasional sighting at an event or a conference, but nothing sustained. Still, like many chance encounters on campuses, that one shaped both of our futures. In my case, later yielding a book on the history of debates about the political role of Black churches. And for her, that time launched her career as an exceptional scholar of religion with that rare combination of capacious intellectual curiosity and panoramic conceptual imagination, anchored by honoring people's lived experiences and always, always linking her piercing questions to pressing contemporary matters. When one reads her prolific body of scholarship, all those attributes are on full display. It's there in her first book, a groundbreaking work on the history of Theravada Buddhism in America, a topic she arrived at while on a Fulbright in Sri Lanka. Based in part on deep ethnographic research here in Philadelphia, that work asks, as she herself put it, how religions or ideas travel and how they are constructed and understood by people in new locations. Just as in my first impression, there it was again, the habits of mind I just described, concision and clarity of purpose, and a book of beautifully rendered prose about immigration and religion, but ultimately also about how people process trauma and loss and relocation and work toward community reconstitution. How we cope with crisis remained a central concern in her research and writing, made plainer when her interest shifted to the area of study that brought us back together after two decades after our first meeting in 1999. And that work, and several new books and dozens of articles, was on the evolving role of chaplains and spiritual caregivers, initially in healthcare settings, I think the area that's most familiar to us, but also later in many different kinds of institutional settings, in prisons, colleges, and universities, in the military, corporate workplaces, even in airports and on cargo ships, and across a rich diversity of religious and spiritual beliefs and practices. At the heart of her research, too, was an empathetic recognition of the emotional and psychic costs of that work to spiritual caregivers themselves. So Wendy's founding in 2018 of the Chaplaincy Lab at Brandeis was her attempt to do something to meet that need. That innovative project twinned much-needed research with the building of networks of care, support, and community among 15,000 chaplains and spiritual caregivers. The COVID-19 crisis in 2020 had made more visible the often overlooked work of spiritual care in healthcare and elsewhere as institutions closed their doors to family and visitors. So it was in the middle of the pandemic, almost exactly 4 years ago today, that Wendy emailed to invite me to do some historical research into the roles of Black chaplains and spiritual caregivers. I was exhausted. I had just finished the first draft of a book that had nothing to do with religion, but she pulled me in for a variety of reasons, not least the clarity of purpose that she and her team had built into their work. As a sociologist, she works in the world of now, searching to apply research to contemporary problems. As a historian, like most humanists, I like to wallow around in the past, to uncover and rediscover texts and artifacts. But this project recognized the need for both with equal urgency, and so I said yes to what remains one of the most gratifying experiences in my academic life and in my personal life as well. So for me, reconnecting after so long of not seeing one another, reaffirmed my first impressions of her as a scholar, but also allowed me to see the evolution of her extraordinary gifts as a quietly effective, ambitious, and visionary leader. It also quickly became clear to me that she also had the administrative experience and the temperament and the drive to use those skills to do a great amount of good in larger venues. Her humility and her modesty are not false. So it took some persuading over time as she began to explore other opportunities for her brand of collaborative leadership, including in due time, the one that now brings us here today. In many ways, our friendship mirrors that of many among and across generations of women who mentor one another as we wrestle with the questions of purpose and meaning in our lives and in our commitments. And then, when necessary, we push and then protect each other as we venture into new, more challenging territory. I don't need to explain that at a place like Bryn Mawr, where women are trained to lead, deeply bonded to one another in common cause to do some good beyond the boundaries of time and space on this campus. So thank you to all of you for bringing Wendy home to Philadelphia, which now permits me to share not just this beautiful day of celebration with you, but also the joys of new friendships with her family, especially Deborah, Nate, and Risa. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Jamie Taylor, and I am a professor in the Literatures and English department here at Bryn Mawr. And I am genuinely honored to welcome President Wendy Cadge, as well as her wife, Deborah Elliott, her children, Risa and Nate, and of course, nobody's mentioned them yet, the presidential pugs and cats, to the Bryn Mawr community. Bryn Mawr is an amazing, challenging place. It was founded on a progressive vision of women pursuing the kind of education only available to men. It was also founded on exclusions of race and class and wealth, welcoming only specific kinds of women into its fold. These two statements are true, both at once. And today we welcome a leader who is not only willing to look at both, but one who understands that one requires the other. There is no future without the past, and there is no reckoning with that past without a deliberate and brave vision of what our future can look like. I say this as someone who studies the distant past. My discipline, medieval studies, was designed in the 19th century to support imperialist politics, to create a partnership between scholarly inquiry and colonial power by finding in the Middle Ages a Europe that was presumed culturally superior to Africa, Asia, and the Americas. Now, I didn't know this disciplinary history when I took my first medieval literature class. I just loved it. The language, the stories, the deeply weird and beautiful poetry. And now I love sharing that love with my brilliant, curious students. But this love requires me to acknowledge my field's original colonial purpose. Together, my students and I must bear witness to the voices that have been muted, to shine a light into the cracks of my field's history. It can be difficult and scary, truth be told, but hope for my field's future can only be had through honest acknowledgement and genuine love, both at once. Now, when I first met President Cadge, I felt a frisson of energy. Here was someone who understood that we must look honestly at our histories if we're to work towards realizing what this place can and should be. Here was someone unafraid to think about our most difficult challenges. President Cadge brings a wide-eyed optimism about the power of the liberal arts, as well as a clear-eyed practicality about their pursuit. Optimism and pragmatism, both at once. President Cadge carries both with ease and good humor in ways that have already gathered and renewed us. We are all so thrilled you're here. Welcome.
I'm Erica Graham. I'm Associate Professor in Mathematics. Thank you. So you may recall how and when you encountered Bryn Mawr for the first time, or perhaps you recall the moment you understood Bryn Mawr to be a special place in its distinctiveness, in its wonder, and its complexity. At 17, I marveled at the campus, the feeling of community, and the prospect of getting my very own lantern. It's light blue, in case you were wondering. At 19, I witnessed how varied the Bryn Mawr experience was among fellow martyrs. And at 21, I didn't run, but gingerly stepped into the quote-unquote real world. And I carried Bryn Mawr with me as I went. And 11 years later, I returned. As idyllic as this sounds, the underlying reality is sobering. Bryn Mawr was not built for me. The academy was not built for me. And the mathematical world was not built for me. Regardless of context, to navigate historically exclusionary spaces is to experience trauma cloaked in a perception of privilege. To thrive in historically exclusionary spaces requires fortitude and sacrifice. To transform historically exclusionary spaces requires genuine commitment and vision. What does it mean to have vision? So the mathematician in me likes definitions, so I looked it up. According to Merriam-Webster, vision is the special sense by which the qualities of an object constituting its appearance are perceived. According to Oxford, vision is, or can be, the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. So, vision comprises seeing the reality of Bryn Mawr today, as well as the promise of Bryn Mawr tomorrow. And given enough time, energy, resources, hard work, and a fearless leader, we can realize a vision of Bryn Mawr that acknowledges its past, analyzes its present, and innovates its future. Which brings me to why we're all here today. When I first met President Cadge in person, it was under a shroud of secrecy in an undisclosed location that I've sworn never to reveal. During that very animated conversation, I observed someone who was eager to understand the multifaceted nature of Bryn Mawr, and someone who could and would simultaneously see, hear, value, question, reflect, engage, and ignite imagination. Simply put, I witnessed vision at work. But don't just take my word for it. Let's go to the source. I've selected a few sound bites from President Cadge since being named president and have compiled them completely out of context, as one does. And I call these Wendy's words of wisdom, or W cubed for all of you quantitative folks. Here we go. Bryn Mawr is a remarkable place. What led me here are questions about class and difference and how to engage across difference, seen and unseen. We have to see each of us and work collaboratively to ensure that everyone in our community is named, seen, and valued. Welcome to the magic we make together. There will be a bouncy house. It is my profound honor and privilege to introduce Bryn Mawr's 10th president, Wendy Cadge.
So let me reassure you, there will be a bouncy house at the block party after this, so nobody leave before we all have a chance to bounce in it. All right, good afternoon and welcome. Today is an unusual day. It's a day that has happened only 9 times in the 139 years since the college was founded. For the math-oriented among us, that's on average once every 14 years. I am beyond honored to be on the stage today with nearly half of Bryn Mawr College's presidents. Pat McPherson. Wave. Jane McCullough. Kim Cassidy. And now me. When I turned 10, and many years later, when each of my children turned 10, my dad greeted us on our birthday mornings by calling us double digits. Never did I imagine that I would have the honor of being Bryn Mawr College's first double digits president. So we are here today to celebrate Bryn Mawr College. We are here for the light. That light has a past, it has a present, and it has a future that we are imagining together. I want to begin by honoring and naming all who are here to see and celebrate that light. So first, my predecessors in the role. Now, the reason we are here, where are the current students? Raise your hands. All right. And where are our current and former faculty? Raise your hands. Yeah, all right. Current and former members of the Board of Trustees? Current and former staff, I see you all, so wave. Our fabulous alumni, where are you? And now parents and friends, including our neighbors and members of the local community. Good. Finally, representatives of our peer institutions in higher education, including several current presidents. Thank you for being here. I also want to acknowledge members of the college community whose stories have not always been told. The college, under the direction of my remarkable predecessor, Kim Cassidy, and with a lot of work by students and faculty, has been learning and sharing these stories. This is the history of African American women and men who worked as maids and porters for earlier generations of mostly white students. It's the history of the earliest students who came from Asia to study here. It is the stories of all who are part of the Who Built Bryn Mawr project, Google it, which is an ongoing effort that gives us the opportunity to deepen and transform how the Bryn Mawr College community understands the college's history. Who Built Bryn Mawr is, in my view, a national model for how to engage higher education communities in the excavation and crafting of layered narratives about the past and its living legacies. I encourage you today or in the future to take the Black at Bryn Mawr tour and to learn more about some of these untold stories. The college will continue to learn about and honor these stories to bring these members into the light when we dedicate Nikisha Jarrett's monument. Don't forget to remember me in April as part of the Art Remediating College Histories Project, or ARCH. Plan now to join us. I also want to personally acknowledge and thank those who made it possible for me to be here today, to join the Bryn Mawr College community and its light. My wife, Deborah, and our children, Nate and Risa. My parents, sisters, and their families who are all sitting here in the front row. My 5 grandmothers who are not with us today, including Phyllis, Holcomb, Bates, Cadge, Lyon, born in 1920, and Elizabeth, Downing, Hipple, Griffith, Heminger, born in 1926. I want to thank my friends here and watching from many corners of the globe, including my former colleagues, now friends from Brandeis University, who were in a cabal back there and made the trip. So thank you very much for Brandeis. And I also want to recognize my teachers from Springfield School District, just a few miles away. As you've heard, I was raised in Delaware County, and I'm thankful for several of my teachers who are with us today, and one who is thankfully at home watching on Zoom, YouTube, following a recent hospitalization. I'm just as grateful for my teachers at Swarthmore College, who are here and watching from afar, including, I believe, my first-year advisor, and my senior thesis advisor, who's tuning in from Hungary. It is these people who led me to other teachers in Sri Lanka, in graduate school, and as a postdoctoral fellow and young faculty member. Never, and I truly mean never, would I be standing here in the light without each of your love and support. So today is a day for bringing communities together. To the chair, to members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished faculty, curious students, thoughtful and engaged staff, amazing alumni, including more than 20 groups gathered for watch parties in San Francisco, Houston, Grinnell, Iowa, Paris, and more. Thank you for welcoming me here today, and for welcoming me and my family, including the pugs who were thrilled that they're now presidential pugs, and the cats who were less thrilled, and the frog who happily swims around next to our kitchen sink. We are honored to be on this adventure alongside each of you. So I officially joined this community almost 4 months ago, and I've been learning constantly. I have lots of questions, as many of you know, and part of my learning is trying to figure out what the most important questions are to be asking about the college at this point in its history and in the social and political context in which we find ourselves. I think about these questions as I walk the campus, sit with many of you in dining halls, recently with our skeletons, and meetings, work out on the elliptical machines in the Schwartz Fitness Center, attend lectures and campus events, and overhear conversations on campus pathways. I listen, and I watch, and I think. Many people think it's the answers to questions that are the most important, and I'm not so sure. So much of what the liberal arts teaches us is how to ask the right questions, how to lead with questions, and insist that questions be taken seriously. So why are we here? Not existentially, though I am a sociologist of religion, and we can talk about that later if you want. But why are we here on a Saturday afternoon, dressed up in funny outfits, when we could be in so many other places? Why were and are and will people be drawn to Bryn Mawr College as a place to learn and play, to work and build lifelong communities? What makes Bryn Mawr distinctive, and how can we ensure that distinctiveness makes a significant, ongoing impact in the world? What does it look like to fulfill the college's mission today, in 2024, to steward the remarkable resources we have been given by the past and loaned by the future, to enable those after us to do the same? These, I think, are the most important questions, the ones I've been thinking about over the last 4 months. Now, well-meaning people like to ask me some version of the question, what are you going to do at Bryn Mawr College? My answer, I am going to do very little. And we, I hope, are going to do much. I, in the singular, can't answer these questions. My job is to help us answer them together as we imagine and build the college's next chapter. That chapter, and part of why we are here, is because of Bryn Mawr's mission statement, which you've heard some about this morning. The mission statement, of course, is central to the next chapter. It led me to apply for this job and is a central part of why I accepted it, when friends and colleagues, especially in this political climate, thought I must be a little nuts to even consider it. The college's values of intellectual curiosity, independence, gender equity, resilience, and uplift of others are my personal values too, as is the deep commitment in practice, not just in words and symbols, to engage equity and inclusion as engines for excellence and innovation. We are here because of the mission statement. We are also here because of the college's symbols and traditions, also a part of the next chapter. The owls, our new mascot, Olympia, Ollie for short, Athena, the school colors, the lantern, classic traditions like parade night, lantern night, and May Day, lesser-known ones like the bra tree, the friendship poles, and done is good boards at finals. We are here because of what I believe is the college's core, its DNA, out of which the next chapter grows. It isn't about the owls or the presidents, newer or older, or even about the lanterns. Bryn Mawr College is very clear about what is central for us, the light. Across generations, we embody the pursuit of knowledge and the power of ideas to light and to change the world. This thirst for knowledge, this spark of curiosity, this passion for learning, it oozes from every pore of this institution and community, and it's symbolized by the lantern. It's about what happens in English House, Park, Dalton, Tricophilly, the libraries, and so many other places of teaching, learning, and playing. The first-year students that I met and ate ice cream with on the lawn of the President's house in August came to Bryn Mawr College for this light, some of them leaving their home countries for the very first time. Students, both graduate and undergraduate, complete their studies having learned to learn, which at least from the alums I have met so far, continues over their lifetimes. One of them was even on Jeopardy last week. I spoke in my convocation address about the magic that happens at the start of each semester. That same magic happens as alums get to know one another and see the Bryn Mawr light in each other. I'm yet to be in a gathering of martyrs of any generation where asking about a book does not open the conversation. This metaphor of light as Bryn Mawr's core commitment to learning and knowledge allows us to look at the lantern in new ways. The lantern is the container for the light, that which houses it, carries it, shapes it, and makes it accessible. The lantern represents the college as an institution, shaping how the light emerges and projects out into the world. I believe that our work together is to make that lantern as effective as it can be, to support, amplify, engage, and share the light. How do we enable that light to burn the brightest and have the most significant impact now and for future generations? It's on days like today that we especially honor and recognize our predecessors, who first harnessed this light for women, who literally turned on the lights at Bryn Mawr College. Our Quaker forebears deeply valued education, not just for individuals, but in institutions dedicated to that purpose. From the beginning, the college was designed to provide access, not just to higher education, but to a truly world-class education, rivaling the very best men's institutions of the time. That's why we are unique among our liberal arts college peers in our longstanding commitment to graduate education. Today, through the Graduate School of Social Work and Social Research, the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, and the Post-Baccalaureate Pre-Medical Program. It's why we were the first women's college in the United States to offer doctoral degrees, and why our scope has been global from the beginning. Today, this light burns brightly as our faculty and students learn and grow together. I see this in classrooms and in the fans at sporting events, many of them toting big textbooks that I have actually seen them reading at halftime. I see it in libraries and study carols, in the summer work students and faculty did together and reported on in a campus-wide coffee in September. The external recognition is there in faculty who receive Fulbright grants and funds from the National Science Foundation, National Institutes of Health, and other sources, and publish their work in so many books and articles. It's in the care that our staff in campus safety, the library, buildings and grounds, the dean's office, the health and counseling centers, and so many other offices across campus offer for our students, not just as scholars, but as whole people. The lanterns across the stage today, and if you can't see them, come up later and take a good look at them. They belong to undergraduates from many generations at the college. And you can see that they've changed. The college, like the lanterns all new undergraduates receive, is always changing because the students are always changing. Faculty, staff, alumni, we all age. The students never do. They graduate, and new, younger students arrive each fall with this spark of light, the thirst for knowledge, the deep zeal for learning. As we look to the next chapter, the light will remain a core, and the container may change. All of these lanterns across the stage require a separate light source, a match and a candle, or a battery-powered candle. In talking with faculty and staff and looking at the world today, I think it's time for a solar-powered lantern. One with a more environmentally sustainable power source. It's too early for me to announce major campus initiatives. We're coming to them together, but I can share that whatever they are, we will work through them sustainably. I am committed to accelerating the college's sustainability work over the next 5 years. To help catalyze Bryn Mawr's work to date, we will be increasing resources to support faculty, staff, and students working on these issues, and creating a new position early in 2025 that is 100% focused on sustainability at the college and in our local communities. I stand here today with the college community, past, present, and future, with deep and abiding gratitude. I'm grateful for a community that, through our shared resources, enables 83% of our students to receive some form of financial aid, meeting 100% of demonstrated need. I am grateful for an institution that knows deep in its bones that education remains the surest tool for social mobility. I'm grateful for an institution that doesn't just talk the talk, but walks the walk, on bringing into the light difficult and previously overlooked parts of our history. I am grateful for an institution building new partnerships with area community colleges, including a pilot program this summer for current community college students that will further introduce them to the benefits of a liberal arts education and might eventually lead to a bachelor's degree from Bryn Mawr. I am grateful for graduate schools with 7 PhD programs, in addition to master's degrees in social work and an amazing post-baccalaureate program in which 95% of students are admitted to medical school. As a former graduate dean, this warms my heart. I am grateful for so many generations and intellectual communities of women, those who are cisgender, transgender, and those who do not navigate within the gender binary. I experience Bryn Mawr as a place that is more than the sum of its parts. It's a beacon that not only educates, but demonstrates, that changes individual lives and offers a collective vision of the difference we can make in the world when we work together. Our world needs beacons, and our collective light is a source of hope for all. Our job together is to strengthen, amplify, and lift the light higher so it shines, maybe like as from a lighthouse, broadly and brightly, so the value of women's colleges and the mission of Bryn Mawr College is impossible for the world to miss. I want our lighthouse to have mirrors and disco balls, to catch and spread that light in all its fabulous rainbows. Okay, you might be thinking, enough about this light. Or you might be wondering, where does the spark that makes this light possible come from? That, I believe, is a deeply personal question with which many of us struggle. For me, that spark is love. Love of knowledge, love of learning, love of one another, and the possibilities in loving community. The ways I have seen groups be more than the sum of their parts. When I was 15, the new band director at Springfield High School, who I think is here with us today, selected me as a sophomore to lead the marching band in my junior and senior years, which just wasn't done. He then sent me to summer drum major camp at Westchester University, which is a story for another day, as are the knee-high boots I wore when trying to look confident walking down the 50-yard line in front of the band, twirling a mace at halftime. Our band had not been trained in what we might call conventional marching techniques. It wasn't the new director or me, newly graduated from summer drum major camp, who taught them. It was drummers and flute players, trumpet players and members of the color guard, working in small peer groups with discipline, laughter, and a lot of love and patience. All it takes is a team or a marching band to show how a group can be more than the sum of its parts. I am here today because I believe love is the strongest force in the universe. It's the glue that turns a marching band that doesn't really know how to march into something I'm talking to you about 30 years later. As my colleagues, now friends, at the Fetzer Institute say in their mission statement, quote, "We believe in the possibility of a loving world, a world where we understand we are all part of one human family and know our lives have purpose. In the world we seek, everyone is committed to courageous, compassionate, and bold love. Powerful forces for good in the face of fear, anger, division, and despair. I am here because of a student I met on campus at Hillel a few weeks ago who told me, quote, "When you meet anger with anger, the result is anger. And when you meet anger with love, something radical can happen." Yes. I took 3 honors seminars in college titled Love and Religion, Religious Belief and Moral Action, and Liberation Theology. My classmates and I read the Song of Songs and other sacred texts about love, and we learned from Dorothy Day, Martin Luther King, Gustavo Gutierrez, Thich Nhat Hanh, and so many others who dedicated themselves to the hard and radical work of love. That is my personal spark. Toni Morrison wrote about the importance of institutionalizing this radical work, quote, "Inviting compassion into the bloodstream of an institution's agenda or a scholar's purpose is more productive, more civilizing, more than ethical, more than humane," she wrote. "It's humanizing." So to conclude, I am here because it takes all of us, staff and faculty, board members, alums, donors, former presidents, neighbors, and friends. We believe in the light, and I believe together we'll create the solar lanterns that will illuminate the college's next chapter, will transform lives, and will continue to change the world. I am here for all of you, and I'm grateful to each of you for being here today and every day for each other. I am here and grateful for friends and colleagues on the stage, watching from afar on their laptops, and in the audience who are here to support me personally. I am here and grateful for the entire Bryn Mawr College community, in whose legacy we stand and whose next chapter we are writing collectively. I am here and grateful for the light, for when we bring our lights together, we are and will continue to be dazzling.
That was phenomenal. Could we give it up one more time for President Cadge? My name is Adalia Sioni Rodriguez, and I'm the class of 2024. What do you do when a hope becomes a reality? You celebrate. Today, we bridge forward into a new era of Bryn Mawr College and welcome our 10th president, Dr. Wendy Cadge. I would like to challenge us to think about what happens when a hope does not bear fruit, to pour countless hours into a critical application, a dream job, a protest, to be met with a response that you had not hoped for. What do you do when barriers make your hopes seem unattainable? At Bryn Mawr, we lean into our community, whether it be coming together in celebration or in solidarity, or in the smaller settings of support, such as sharing meals with each other. My community was my posse, the geology department, the Enoch Cook Center, because in the moments where I felt like I did not belong, they always uplifted me. At Bryn Mawr, our communities instill the drive to keep moving forward. So let us dream together in this new chapter of Bryn Mawr. Let us dream of a continuing equitable institution, of an institution that will always break barriers so that all are welcomed in the highest social and academic standards. And if you feel hopeless about where we stand as an institution, let's do something about it. Change does not happen if we only talk within separate bodies. It happens when we take our respective strengths and bridge our communities together as students, staff, faculty, alumni, and the Board of Trustees with our president as our leader. At Bryn Mawr, to move forward means to build on the work of generations past. So let us not forget those who came before us as we look towards a brighter future. Thank you.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here to represent Bryn Mawr's Alumni Association and its 25,000 undergraduate, graduate, and postbac alumna. Alums who, like me, carry their student experience with them as we make joyful impact across the world. Our reputation precedes us. We are fiercely independent thinkers, proud intellectuals, and full of opinions. Each martyr has their individual story to tell about their unique journey to, through, and after Bryn Mawr. However, when you gather us together, our collective and common bonds shine, and you find an alumna community that endeavors to lift each other up. This alumna community is linked from generation to generation by a thread of unique traditions, esteemed faculty, magic cookie bars, and beloved friendships that stand the test of time. It's no wonder that we have nearly 1,000 active and engaged alumna leaders who prioritize giving back to Bryn Mawr. Thank you. And many of these alums are with us here today, representing their class and graduate schools. In addition, we have over 70 regional clubs across the globe that are hubs and connectors for our expansive Bryn Mawr network. They're also proudly celebrating with us today. Hi, guys. Thank you. The inauguration of a new president is a welcome opportunity for the entire Bryn Mawr family to celebrate a new chapter in our alma mater's history. We are so lucky that President McPherson, President McAuliffe, and President Cassidy are here to celebrate with us today. Thank you for taking such good care of our beloved Bryn Mawr. We love you. President Cadge, last spring you received a lantern as part of your welcome to Bryn Mawr. In just a few short months, you have already used it to shine a light on all that is possible here at the college. Thank you for seeing our excellence and wanting to amplify it across the world. I'm confident that we alumni will both raise our voices to be heard and listen to one another as we help you build an ever more equitable and supportive Bryn Mawr community. And I am ready personally and excited to move forward with you in this important work. As you all know, martyrs have a not so quite traditional toast that appears whenever and wherever good is happening. So today we are turning to our current students. I think you're making your way to the stage or not. There you are, awesome. To show us how it's done.
like the love, I like the climbers. I was her sister then, I was running out of time in one-liners. And I was afraid as you are when you're too young to know the time. And so I watch the way you take your fears and hoard the horizon. You point, you have a word for every woman you can lay your eyes on. Like you own them just because you bought the time. You turn to me, you say you hope I'm not threatened. Whoa, 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 I'm not that petty. As cool as I am, I thought you know this already. I will not be afraid of women. I will not be afraid of women.
So now we're at a club, you watch the woman dancing. She is drunk and she is smiling, and she's falling in a slow descending funk. And the whole bar is loud and proud, and everybody's trying, yeah. You play the artist, you say, is it how she moves or how she looks? I say it's loneliness, suspended to our own like grappling hooks. But as long as she's got noise, she's fine. But I could teach her how I learned to dance when the music's ended. Whoa, 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 and that's not petty. As cool as I am, I thought you know this already. I will not be afraid of women. I will not be afraid of women.
You tried to make me doubt, to make me guess, tried to make me feel like a little less. So I liked you when your soul was bare. I thought you knew how to be scared, and it's amazing what you did to make me stay. But truth is just like time, it catches up and it just keeps going. Whoa.
And so I'm leaving, you can find out how much better things can get. And if it helps, I'd say I'd feel a little worse than I did when we met. So when you find someone else, you can try again, it might work next time. You look out of the kitchen window and you shake your head and say low. If I could believe that stuff, I'd say that woman has a halo. And I look out and say, yeah, she's really blonde. But then I go outside to join the others.
I am the others. Whoa, 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 and that's not easy. I don't know what you saw, I want somebody who sees me. I will not be afraid of women. I will not be afraid of women.
Anasa Katak! Hello, Delay! Yeah, 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 Negay! Bryn Mawr! Bryn Mawr! Bryn Mawr!
Thank you. And thank you to all whose efforts have made today possible and to all who've joined us to speak from many different parts of the country. It's time to continue to celebrate at the Community Block Party. So when you leave, if you go out this way and follow the crowd, you will discover that Wendy has kept her word and there will be a bouncy house. Thank you all.